Hey everyone, welcome to the Morning Grind podcast. I'm your host, Stevietpfl. It is Wednesday. It's April 22nd. It is 2022. We have 9 MLB games to talk about here on today's podcast. Talking about the main slate, the slate that starts at 6:40 p.m. Eastern, not the early slate that has the small amount of games there. So, going to focus on the main slate. Excited for this one. The pitching is very interesting. There's a lot of like tournament risk reward type pitchers on this one, so um, we'll see how it kind of plays out. But kind of sweating a little bit here too. Got a good team going over on DraftKings with a White Sox stack, so need the White Sox to keep going. Be a good night if they keep going, and then FanDuel, like my FanDuel team's really good too. I only played one lineup on FanDuel on this slate, and it looks really good right now. I switched from McLean to Bubich like 3 minutes before lock, and that one just I don't know, kind of tilting a little bit, but yeah, excited to be back. Sorry I missed yesterday. It was long day. We'll just call it that. It was just a long day. Excited to be back, and we are going to do the minor league baseball hat giveaway on today's show. So, how you can enter the giveaway if you are subscribed to the channel on YouTube. So, if you are a listener on the podcast, you need to go over to the YouTube. It's Morning Grind on YouTube. Comment on this show who you think the highest scoring hitter, not pitcher, highest scoring hitter with the score. So if Yeezy and Dave, who are both in chat, if they both end up picking Aaron Judge on the slate, and Yeezy picks 20 and Dave picks 22, and Judge is the highest scoring hitter with 22, Dave would win. So that is how you enter the contest for the minor league baseball hat. You have to guess in comments who you think the highest scoring hitter is. DraftKings scoring, because we talk mostly DraftKings here. DraftKings scoring is how you'll unlock that. So yeah, make sure you put who your guess is and how many fantasy points you think they're going to score. Person that gets it right, um, you know. And I will say, like, if somebody doesn't guess the highest scoring hitter, it's the next highest. Like, so there will be a winner, no matter what. There will be a winner. I won't be on the show Thursday. I have a really crazy day tomorrow. There's no way I'm going to get to the podcast tomorrow night. So I'll be back Friday, and I'll let everybody know who won the contest. But the way that you enter, go over to YouTube, go to Morning Grind, go to the comment section of this show. Guess who you think the highest scoring DraftKings hitter is going to be on this main slate, not the early slate, the main slate, and with the fantasy guest score as well. So I thought it was the fairest way to do it. So while you're over there, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Appreciate it, you all helping me. I guess I'm so used to saying us, but helping me get to 2,000 subscribers over here on the Morning Grind. Let's get into this slate, 9 games. A lot to talk about. What's up, chat? Hope you're having a good one. I need a Corbin Carroll hit. A Corbin Carroll hit will give me a nice night on the betting streets. So I need a Corbin Carroll hit. Yamamoto just luck box one of my single game parlays back in, but all I need is a Corbin Carroll hit. That's what I'm needing right now. I just need Carroll to get one hit. I have over half a hit on him. So I'm rooting. He's about to hit. Let's hope he gets a hit. It could be a single. I don't care. He's looked awful at the plate in his first 2 at bats. So, all right, we get started here with Milwaukee at Detroit. 8 total in this game. Detroit a minus 136 favorite. Chad Patrick, Casey Mize facing off against each other in this one. Obviously starting with Chad Patrick. He really hasn't missed bats to start the season. It's a very small sample size, but 12% strikeouts, 9% walks. Swinging strike rate is very similar to last season, which definitely suggests that he's been a little unlucky to start the year. So I don't think this is a spot I want to play Chad Patrick, just because, again, like, a guy with a 12% K rate and only generating 34% like ground balls. No, I mean, throwing a lot of cutters, just not missing bats. His fastball is getting hit very hard. So overall, for me on Patrick, I'm going to pass. Not missing enough bats. I think there's plenty of strikeout upside on the slate, and I don't think that Chad Patrick is that guy. So going to pass on him. Casey Mize on the other side here, 26% Ks, really kind of dominating left-handed hitters to start the season, which, man, sorry, I'm so distracted by Corbin Carroll swinging at balls in the dirt. Really just, I need a single from him. Let's just get a single and stop swinging at, like, what is he doing? He is having a rough night. Not going to happen. All right. Anyway, Casey Mize, let's look at what he's really doing differently against lefties this year compared to last year. Last year, fastball, split finger, slider, slurve. Looks like the same type of stuff. Very similar percentage of use. Yeah, I mean, some of his expected stats last year were good. So maybe he got a little unlucky last year. It looks like the split finger is very like his go-to pitch right now. So yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily hate the spot for Casey Mize. He's going to face quite a bit of lefties, and really he's been pitching better against lefties. So I think he kind of benefits from the righties in this lineup. So large field tournaments, just tournaments in general, I think you could take some shots on him. I mean, that's a lot of pitchers on the slate. I'm just saying, like, as we get through going through this slate, you're going to see like a lot of pitchers on this slate are like boom bust type of plays. As far as the bats for Milwaukee, I want right-handed power against Mize. That's where he's really struggled this year. So like William Contreras or like Gary Sanchez. That's one of the reasons that I like Casey Mize here is like there are projected to be so many lefties in this lineup that, if he could continue to pitch well against the lefties, this is where he should, benefit with all the left-handed hitters in this lineup. So right-handed power is where I would attack Mize. Picking on Chad Patrick a little bit here. Overall, he's not striking out enough hitters, and he's not generating enough ground balls for me not to want to play some of these left-handed power bats for Detroit. Obviously Carpenter, Green, Keith would probably be my three favorites here. McGonigal. But any of the left-handed bats for Detroit is kind of where I'm going to be at. I think that they're a team that you could potentially stack. I know mini stack is definitely playable here. Chad Patrick, again, just not missing bats. And like we like to hit pitchers that are not missing bats. A lot of hard contact. Very low whiff rate and swinging strike rate. Just, I mean, his numbers against lefties this year, 8% Ks, 341 WOBA, 44% fly balls, 56% hard hits, 15% whiff rate. Like he's just really struggling with left-handed hitters. So I think the Detroit lefties in play here to kind of kick off this slate. Atlanta at Washington. Perez and Littell facing off in this one. I laughed. Yes, I laughed a little bit there. Yeah. So Martin Perez still throwing baseballs, still not missing bats. I think there's going to be plenty of risky, high upside plays that you could play on this slate. I don't think this guy is one of them. I'm just going to pass on Perez. Like, I just don't see any upside. I don't see enough upside to make it like worthy DFS wise here. So I'm out on him. On the other side of this game, I mean, Zach Little, he has been awful to start the season. He had one good start against St. Louis, but overall, 16% Ks, 290 ISO, 425 WOBA. not missing any bats, giving up a ton of barrels, and he's been a little lucky against lefties, and like that's how bad his numbers are. So, um, really like the Braves bats. I think that they're one of the top stacks on this slate on the road here, with cores and a pretty good core spot with the pitchers that we have pitching in cores today. So I think Atlanta is one of the better stacks outside of cores in Arizona. So I'm going to play Atlanta. I mean, Baldwin Olson would be my favorites, but Ronald Acuna he's been free on FanDuel. I don't know if he's still free or not on FanDuel or not, but he's been free over there. So you could definitely take advantage of him. But Austin Riley has been great priced on DraftKings. I've been playing him a lot this week and last week, I think. So I like the Braves. Going to be one of my favorite stacks on the slate. I also like Washington a little bit here. We get a little platoony. Joe, is Weimer still? I always forget to look and make sure. Is Weimer still up with the big league club? Yeah, he is. So Joey Weimer likely to platoon here. He's been good against lefties since the start of last season. Really good numbers against lefties. Nunez is not bad against lefties, but Jacob Young is somebody that I think you could take some shots on here. James Wood, lefty, I think is fine. Brady House, Curtis Mead, like these guys are going to be in there, and they're cheap. I mean, they're really cheap. So I want to take advantage of these Washington bats against Perez, who doesn't really miss bats. They're cheap. I mean, Mead is 2,900, House is 2,900, Young is 3,100. Um, Ruiz at catcher is 2,800. So I think this is a really good spot to get some savings on some of these cheaper Washington bats. But again, Perez not really missing bats, so I think this is a good spot. All right, the Yankees against my Red Sox, 8 total. Yankees a 143 favorite. Max Fried, Ranger Suarez facing off against each other in this one. I know this game's in Boston. I know there's like a huge rivalry just in general here, but I don't understand this line. I would probably put the Yankees closer to like 180 favorites against Boston here, but um is what it is. Max Fried, you're always worried a little bit about the strikeout stuff for Fried. He can do it with a complete game shutout type of performance or 7 or 8 really clean innings. So I don't mind Max Fried here. It'd be really interesting to see where his ownership is at and Otani's ownership is at on this slate, with just them being two of the more talented pitchers on this one. Um, I think that's really it for Fried. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to say. Boston, they're going to platoon some of these lefties out of there, but the right-handed platoon bats are not the best. So not overly excited about playing Boston here. Ranger Suarez on the other side, still yet to be determined with Ranger Suarez, but he's looked a lot better the last 2 times out through 8 really strong innings against Detroit. Um, he's been a little unlucky to start the season, so that's good. Overall, he still doesn't project as like this really heavy strikeout guy. There was a time where Ranger Suarez could go up there and, rack up some strikeouts. But like this season, even looking back, last year was around 23%. This year he's at 17%. He's definitely getting a little older too. He's a sinker ball guy that throws a lot of sinkers and changeups, just trying to generate ground balls and soft contact. That's kind of what he does here. So I don't think I want to play Suarez at 8K with his limited upside. I wouldn't necessarily talk you off of it. I think there's better plays overall. But as far as the bats here for the Yankees, I want guys that are going to hit the ball up in the air, and that's Stanton and Judge. They both hit the ball up in the air. They both have really high fly ball rates. They're not going to be harmed by the ground ball pitcher here with Suarez. So crazy to think you want to play Aaron Judge against the lefty. But yeah, I think Judge and Stanton would be my favorites. I think the Yankees are in play. I think they're a stack that's going to get a lot of love today for a lot of right reasons. So no issues with them. I don't stack against Max Fried. He's such a elite pitcher when it comes to like generating soft contact and not getting blown up. So even in the games that like Fried gives up, 3, 4 runs, he still typically doesn't give up a lot of home runs. So last start out against the Angels, 5 earned runs, 1 home run, in 5 1/3. I expect a nice bounce back here against my Red Sox. We got Minnesota at New York. Will the Mets ever win again? 8 total in this one. Mets are 160 favorite. We got Rojas against Holmes. Yes, Rojas against Holmes in this one. So I was looking earlier. Let me pull it back up here. So Rojas is a prospect. I wouldn't necessarily put him as like a top end prospect. He's 10th in the Minnesota organization. I just kind of looking here at Rojas. He has a little bit of he definitely has some speed with his fastball. I don't know if they would necessarily want him up yet or not, kind of looking at the data for him. So he's been pitching in single A ball since 2022. Last season in Triple A, he pitched with Minnesota and Toronto a little bit. Didn't have the best stuff. Projects as a below average strikeout pitcher, struggles with command. For all those reasons, I don't want to play him here. The Mets are ice cold right now, but I just don't see a lot of reasons to play Rojas outside of he's just really cheap. So if you want to take a shot on a guy that's gonna be cheap, you could. I don't personally see it. I think that there's gonna be better options overall. On the other side of this one, Clay Holmes, like still a below average strikeout pitcher, kind of relying on ground balls and soft contact. 8,900 is a steep price tag. He is somebody that's capable of putting up like 25 fantasy points and, not necessarily being awful, but the ballpark's nice. It's just for me, I need guys that can really attack lineups on any given slate. So I don't tend to play a lot of Clay Holmes unless he just has this incredible type of matchup. I don't think today is one of those days where I would say like he has this incredible type of matchup. So yeah, for me, out on Holmes overall. Oh, I wanted to mention too when I was talking about Stanton. It's crazy. I was looking up something. I think it was Joe Adele. I was looking up on Tuesday. I know he hasn't done anything and it's tilting, but when I was looking him up, I realized that Stanton leads the majors in average bat speed. Just kind of interesting. So just throwing that out there. That's a good like stat to kind of look at for power spots. But going back to that Yankee spot last game before against Suarez. Anyway, as far as the Minnesota bats go, like Clay Holmes is a pitcher that goes out and generates soft contact and ground balls. You could always target like a one-off against him. It'd probably be like Josh Bell or Buxton for me, Clemens potentially. But overall, I'm not like overly excited about this spot. As far as the Mets, like Rojas, he projects as a guy that could potentially struggle here. So, you know, Luis Robert, Bo Bichette, Alvarez, they all hit left-handed pitching well. Mark Vientos. I think this is a team you could potentially stack today and hope for the best. But I mean, you don't necessarily love the ballpark. you like the potential ownership, but if he struggles with command too, which he kind of profiles to struggle with command, then it could be a spot where it just kind of works out for you. So don't mind potentially looking at this one and playing a few Mets, getting some exposure to the Mets. We got Philadelphia at Chicago Cubs. 8. I see 8 total. I see 8.5 on a couple spots. Big favorites for the Cubs. Tajon Walker against Matthew Boyd. Night before, weather looks pretty good here. Like kind of crosswindy a little bit, 75 degrees. I wouldn't necessarily say it's bad hitting weather. I don't know if I necessarily would say it's great hitting weather either. Walker, no chance. Absolutely no chance. The Cubs are one of my favorite stacks on the slate. So not playing Tajon Walker and his 17% Ks and 270 ISO, 450 WOBA. Like, can't get hitters out. I'm out on that. Matthew Boyd coming back from the IL here. Looks like he missed about 3 weeks. Um, he did throw a AAA game, 64 pitches. I think he could potentially be limited here. I would say if he is limited, I would guess probably in the 80 to 85 pitch range for Boyd. Regardless, I think that there's going to be better options. You know, Boyd, when he's on, he's on. This team has a lot of power against left-handed pitching. So I mean, I don't really have a ton of interest in Boyd. If I knew he was going to go out and throw 95 plus pitches, maybe, and the hitting conditions weren't so good, I think you could potentially do that. But yeah. All right. Bats here for Philadelphia. I don't mind Schwarber, lefty, even though Boyd is really good against lefties. It's a he's coming back from injury type of play for me. Garcia is really cheap. Alboma is really cheap. Felix Reyes probably in the lineup here at 2K. I mean, you could do worse. I think he hit 4th the other day. So I don't mind that if he does hit up towards the top of the lineup. I mean, 2K is always nice. Yeah. Like I said, the Cubs are one of my top stacks here. Walker is very hittable. The Cubs have just tremendous power throughout this lineup. Cubs is 53 degrees blowing in 6 miles per hour. I mean, that's not what I'm seeing on multiple sites that I use. It's the night before. It could obviously change, but I mean, what I'm looking at right here has 75 degrees, wind blowing slightly out, maybe slightly to right field. So we're definitely seeing 2 different things. I don't typically check weather until the next day. Um, yeah, I'm looking. I'll definitely circle back on this tomorrow. Um, 53 degrees, wind blowing in could potentially be a little bit better pitching weather, but still going to play the Cubs. I'm going to stack against Walker anytime he's pitching. I live in Chicago. It's 50 tomorrow. All right, I hear you, Anthony. I appreciate you. I still will check it tomorrow, but I'll take your word for it. Even if it is 50, I'm still gonna play the Cubs here. Happ, Suzuki, Bush, PCA, Bregman, PCA batting down towards the bottom of the lineup, I think actually benefits like ownership type of stuff. So Tajon Walker is a very hittable pitcher. This is a spot where the Phillies bullpen, if you get to the bad part, they have They have some decent arms in that bullpen, but they're a bullpen that's hittable. So I like the idea of playing some Cubs here. Um, Sean Walker still pitching, still getting paid, getting paychecks. All right, we got Pittsburgh at Texas, 8.5 total in this game. It's a pick'em game. I am seeing the weather closer to what Anthony was saying. Now I looked at a different one. And it definitely says 50 with 4 to 6 mile an hour winds blowing in from center. All right, Pittsburgh at Texas. Like I said, 8.5 total. Pick'em game. Braxton Ashcraft against Jack Leiter in this one. I mean, I'm interested in Ashcraft here. Again, I want to take some riskier plays, but Ashcraft strikeout stuff might actually be legit. From what I've seen so far, the advanced data likes him as well. Good swinging strike rate, good whiff rate. I've seen enough that I think that you could definitely play him here. I mean, looking at like some of his baseball savant stuff, 1.98 xERA, 171 x batting average, 29.7% Ks. Slugging looks great. The curveball slider combination that he uses with his fastball is generating a ton of whiffs. So yeah, I think Ashcraft, even against a tougher Texas team, like I say tougher, Texas is a solid lineup. They can strike out with the best of them. So yeah, I would like Ashcraft a lot more if this game was in Pittsburgh. But either way, I think this is a spot you definitely play him, take some shots. Jack Leiter, I mean, he's going to be a guy that really benefits against right-handed heavy lineups, and he struggles with like lefty lineups. Thing here is if Brandon Lau doesn't play, like he's day to day, it was like a left knee or right knee. I remember because I bet his bases props, and I saw it got voided when I got home from practice. There might be enough righties in this lineup that I take some shots on Leiter in tournaments. His strikeout stuff this year against righties has been awesome. I think this lineup, like, I mean, O'Neal Cruz, Ryan O'Hearn, Brian Reynolds, those are the 3 bats you're kind of worried about. And those are the 3 bats that I would play if I was going to play bats against him. But, like, I don't know if I would necessarily put, like, Jake Mangum, like, in that range of, like, I'm worried about, even though he's a lefty. And, like, Ozuna strikes out heavily. Griffin so far strikes out a lot. Whoever catches here, I mean, both catchers strike out. So it doesn't really matter who catches. They both strike out a ton. I think this would be if he gets 5 or more righties, I think this is a spot you could play him. I mean, he has a 32.5% K rate against righties, 70 ISO, 245 WOBA, 14.4% swinging strike for a 30% whiff rate. Like, even against lefties this year, he's gotten very unlucky. Like, nowhere near where he's at against righties, but he has a 385 BABIP. Like, that will come down unless he's just very unlucky all year. So we've seen some upside games out of him already this year. This is one of those spots looking at the lineup. If his command is good, I think he has the upside we're looking for in tournaments. So I think Leiter's in play today. Bats against him, I mean, I just said it. O'Neal Cruz, Ryan O'Hearn, Brian Reynolds. When he struggles, it's left-handed power. Those are the 3 bats at the top of this order that I would play against him. Ashcraft, picking on him here with the Texas bats. Like, I haven't seen enough of the working against this guy. His barrel rate's 3.6%. I don't see a reason to play Texas today out unless you're just going to stack them and hope for the best. They're not a team that I like today. San Diego at Colorado, 11.5 total. San Diego, a 163 favorite. Walker Buehler, Tomoyuki Sagano. Yeah, these two guys are pitching today. I know that core is 1-0 on Tuesday. It was actually good. I was very underweight on that game. If you are a Roto Grinders premium subscriber and you read Expert Survey, I talked about how I was basically going to fade that game, and that was going to be my big stand on this slate. That worked out great. Walker Buehler has pitched okay to start the season. He had a good game against this team in San Diego through 6 really strong innings against them. It's just not the same. It's not the same. I don't want to play Walker Buehler today. And I mean, I definitely don't want to play Sagano, a guy that just doesn't miss bats and cores against a team that makes a ton of contact. So, yeah, San Diego stack very much in play today. I think this is a much better spot than yesterday. Tatis Merrill would be my 2 favorites. Gavin Sheets towards the top of my list here. Cronenworth, there's some cheap bats that could potentially crack the lineup too. Bryce Johnson. If Bryce Johnson is somebody that if he's in the lineup, you could potentially take some shots on him as well. Mike Conley in chat, I appreciate you hanging out. My show, I can do whenever I want. I mean, I'm not sponsored. I do this show for free. If I can't do the show, I can't do the show. I'm sorry. You can unsubscribe. You don't have to be here. If you want to be here, I'm awesome. Cool. Colorado bats against Buehler. I don't mind the Rockies here. Again, I don't think Walker Buehler is anywhere near a good pitcher. He's pitched well. Last season when he struggled, it was power bats. Mickey Moniak, Hunter Goodman, Johnston, Tovar, Rumfield, I guess. I think that's where I would kind of cut it off. I think Colorado is very playable here. They're cheap, at home against Walker Buehler. Mickey Moniak's 3,900. I think he's good. I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah. You can hit that button that says unsubscribe and the X button. Chicago White Sox at Arizona. I like that one. I love the comments that are always like, you don't know what you're talking about. Yep. Sure don't. No idea. 9 total in this game. Arizona, a 156 favorite. No, you can't. K against Rodriguez. Anthony K throwing baseballs again today. Sorry, I'm so distracted by chat. My bad. My bad, chat. I did block him. I totally lost my train of thought here. Anthony K throwing baseballs today. Anthony K so far has been really good against lefties and has really struggled with righties. This lineup should be able to throw enough righties. I mean, I assume that Corbin Carroll is still going to be in the lineup, even lefty. But I think there's going to be enough righties in this lineup that K is going to have to get righties out, and that's just something that he's not been able to do yet this season. 8.5% Ks, 14% walks, 185 ISO, 370 WOBA. Ton of hard contact. Funny. Always have to be that one person. Yeah, I mean, hey, there's always one. Listen, I love doing the show, and that's why I still do the show. This is year, I think, 10. So, like, I still very much love doing the show, and I will continue to do the show. First morning grind was April 4th, 2016. So, yeah, year 10. Um, but I just not in the position of life anymore where I can literally grind the morning grind 5 days a week. And yeah, I mean, it's not when I was an employee of Roto Grinders and I was full time and I was over there and like, it was part of my job to grind the show every day. Like, it was work and I loved it. I loved doing the show. But now that like I'm doing the show, I pay for all of the back end stuff and it's not sponsored or anything. It's just me talking baseball because I love to talk baseball and I love the show. I love the community. Um, I mean, I try to do 3 or 4 shows a week, so it's not always going to be 3 or 4 shows a week. There might be shows that I do or weeks that I do 5. There might be weeks that I do 2. There might be weeks that I don't do any. So I think it just at the end of the day, it's just going to really be when I can do it. So, but I do appreciate everyone, like I do, like I said, I do this show because I've always really loved this community that the morning grind has produced over these last 10 years. So that's just a little rant. Um Other side of this game. So I don't want to play Anthony K. I think I said that. I think there's going to be enough right-handed hitters in this lineup. The roof is supposed to be open in this game. I think that for many reasons I don't want to play Anthony K today. As far as like Eduardo Rodriguez, he's another guy that really is just not missing bats. Like he's not getting blown up. Last start out against Baltimore, he allowed 4 earned runs in that game, but like um overall, Eduardo Rodriguez is not like here. I'm gonna pull this up. I'm gonna assume his xERA is a lot higher than his actual ERA. Let's see if I'm right. So his xERA is 4.13. His actual ERA is 1.96. Chase rate is really low. His whiff rate is really low. His K rate is really low. Um, Off speed stuff has been really good for him. Like his changeup cutter combination, curveball has been really good. He's using his changeup a lot more this season. Last year, he was fastball 46% of the time, changeup 20% of the time. This season, he's fastball 35%, changeup 35%. Well, I'm rooting for Corbin Carroll to get a single, Derek. So let's do that. I have a 3-pick single game parlay that I need. All I need is Corbin Carroll to get a single to hit that. Yeah, I needed more White Sox too. I have a lot of White Sox. But yeah, Eduardo Rodriguez, going back to him, it looks like the changeup has really kind of been his like go-to pitch this year. His batting average and stuff on his fastball, much higher X batting average, much higher X WOBA. His cutter continues to be hit really hard. I think it'd be kind of see what the lineup looks like. He continues to be good against lefties this year. So I want to see what the lineup looks like here for the White Sox before I'd make a decision on Eduardo Rodriguez. But I do think like Jack Leiter has more like upside at cheaper, right? Isn't Leiter cheaper? Um, or I guess they're like I guess Leiter's more expensive. I do think Leiter has more upside. Ashcraft is cheaper. I would play Leiter and Ashcraft over Eduardo Rodriguez today. I'd probably play Casey Mize over Eduardo Rodriguez today as well. As far as the bats, I mean, Vargas has always been really solid lefty against lefties. Everson Priya has been really solid against lefties in a small sample size. Murakami and Montgomery, lefty have been really good against lefties in a small sample size. So could be an interesting spot to play some White Sox. They were one of my favorite stacks, like low owned stacks on the slate on Wednesday or Tuesday. It is Wednesday. Sorry, I just smashed my finger. Like it is like, oh, I don't know how I did it though. Like, anyway. Other side here. I mean, I like any of the right-handed bats to crack the lineup. Again, Anthony K can't get righties out. Marte would be my favorite. He was really cheap on FanDuel on Tuesday, so I assume his price is going to be pretty down still. Vargas is really good against lefties. Trying to see who else they have. They'll platoon some of these right-handed bats in there. It stinks that like Marino is not up right now. Yeah. I don't know what I did to my finger. Like it just started bleeding and like my skin was like ripped. Don't you hate that? Nolan Arenado, I mean, he's still playing baseball. His power was really down against lefties last year. Him and Gurriel, they're both really cheap, but their power is just way down against lefties last year. Jose Fernandez, he grades out as a guy that could definitely take advantage against a guy like K. So I don't mind getting Jose Fernandez in there. I'm trying to think who else like could potentially crack the lineup here, but yeah, any of these righties in the lineup today. George Barroso, he profiles well against lefties. He's only 2,100. I would assume he draws the start here. And they like him late in games for defense. So there's a chance that like even if there's a righty or he's a switch hitter too. So if he draws the start here today, he should probably play the whole game. So I like him if he's able to draw the start. All right, last game, Dodgers and San Francisco. All right, Corbin Carroll. Let's just a single Carroll. 2-1 count, sit fastball, get you a little fastball, get us a little single up the middle. All right. This game has a 7.5 total. Dodgers a big favorite. Otani against Molly. Otani is the most expensive pitcher on the slate here. Obviously capable of big strikeout games. From the pitcher perspective of Otani, obviously I'm interested in playing him. I talked about a few really cheap pitchers or hitters on the slate, so no issues taking some shots on Otani here. Other side of this one, Tyler Mahle, like he just continues to struggle with command. I mean, his command is just really kind of all over the place to start the season. It's really led to him struggling with lefties and righties. But even last time out against the Reds, like in Cincinnati, 5 walks, 4 home runs allowed, 8 earned runs. He did not like going to the Great American Small Park. Back at home here, but a tough matchup against the Dodgers. I do not want to play Molly today. I do like the Dodgers. I think this is a great spot for them. There's a possibility that like Otani doesn't like DH today because he's pitching. So if that happens, obviously we probably get Rushing at 3,500. I like him. Muncy, Paez, Tucker, Freeman. Freeman's back. So yeah, Kim on the cheap end. Definitely like the Dodgers today. I know I saw him walk. I needed a single. I don't think he'll get another at bat either. So gonna go check and see if I have a cash out option for that bet and see if it's available. No cash out available. Of course it's not. Man, I wanted that one too. I liked that one. I'm not playing any Giants today. I think there's 5 or 6 offenses that are really kind of just where I'm going to build around today, and I don't think they're one of them. The Dodgers are interesting on the road, late game hammer though. Um, I wrote down a lot of offenses on the slate. Definitely a stacking kind of slate for sure. All right, morning grind game. Again, if you're just tuning into the show, if you're watching live and you're just tuning in, if you want a chance to win a minor league baseball hat, make sure you go over to the comment section on the YouTube. Guess who you think is going to be the highest scoring hitter with the fantasy points next to the guess for the main slate on DraftKings. Closest wins. Make sure you hit that subscribe button when you're over there. We lost a subscriber earlier. I think that's the first person I've ever banned on the Morning Grind YouTube. So, yeah. All right, morning grind game under 8K to get 6 or more strikeouts. Casey Mize. Over 8K to score under 15. I want to say Eduardo Rodriguez. So that's what I'm going to go with. Over 4K to go yard, hit a home run. A lot of options. I'm guessing Stanton's over 4K. 4,600. There you go. Under 4K to score 10 plus points. Can't go cores. I would say Mickey Moniak, but I don't like going cores. Let's go back to that really early game and go Joey Weimer. Stack to score 6 or more runs. Give me the Cubs. I have not looked at any bets, so I don't like giving out stuff when I haven't looked at anything. I'm looking. Well, let's go with a 3-pick parlay with 3 teams to win. I like all 3 of these teams to win. Let's go Yankees, Padres, Dodgers. It's plus 306. That'd be the 3-pick parlay for today's podcast. Appreciate everyone hanging out. Again, won't be here tomorrow. I don't even know how many baseball games there are tomorrow or Thursday. Oh, it looks like we have a pretty cool day slate on Thursday. That'd be fun. I won't be around for that. I won't have a podcast out for that, even though it looks like 2, 4, 6. Maybe if I'm feeling where I'm not as exhausted. I have such a busy day on Wednesday, so doing a podcast Wednesday night probably not going to happen. But I will be back on Friday to announce who won the minor league baseball hat. Appreciate everyone hanging out. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you again on Friday.